Welcome to Inside Boxing's ThrowDown. My name is Steve Johnson. My co-host Aurelio Martinez. In this segment, you might notice that we're without Eric Sugarfoot Duran, who is on assignment. He'll be back with us on our next segment that we do. I think we're going to talk this one, Aurelio, about the pay-per-view fight this past weekend that was headlined with Floyd Mayweather Jr. and Saul Canelo Alvarez. On the undercard, we had Lucas Matthysse and Danny Garcia. We also had Ishe Smith taking on Carlos Molina.
Yep.
All exciting bouts, you know. And so why don't we start with the first bout, the Ishe Smith and Carlos Molina.
Yeah, I think the card was one of them spectacular pay-per-views. I mean, obviously, for some time now, people have been feeling really short-ended when it comes to pay-per-view buys, and they buy it and they usually get maybe one good fight, if that, and they just kind of feel like they paid a lot of money for nothing. In other words, not getting their money's worth.
Right.
Well, this card here actually was it was action-packed. It was star-struck. I mean, of course, talking about the Floyd Mayweather Canelo. I mean, that's everyone was waiting for that, and we'll get into that on the next segment, today's next segment. And then the two championship bouts underneath that. So, yeah, you talk about Carlos Molina. Carlos Molina, I don't think anyone was really giving him a chance, including myself. I thought Ishe Smith would be a little too much for him. Plus, Ishe was kind of riding a high wave, signing with Floyd Mayweather. And things were just kind of going right for his career, late in his career, and I just thought that would be enough of a momentum for him to go in and take this fight. Where if you've seen Carlos Molina, he's a good fighter, and he's actually been in there with some good competition, and he's fared well. But I just felt that the circumstances surrounding this on a Floyd Mayweather event that was highlighted big time. Ishe is with Floyd Mayweather. I just thought that would carry him out, and I was actually very disappointed with Ishe's performance, with his output in the card. He didn't. To me, he fought like he was planning on the fight being given to him. I didn't see him fight with that aggression and that desire to make a statement.
Yeah, I would agree. These three fights, I was on the short end because I only had that Molina fight was the only one that I picked correctly. I was a little bit different than you. I do agree with you. I thought that Molina was behind the eight ball, considering the fact that, like you said, this was really Floyd's show.
Yeah.
And have Ishe Smith, Floyd's guy, being on the undercard. You thought that it was almost a given. And I think like you said, I think he had that same attitude.
Yeah.
But I'm a fan of all the Molinas. We got John Molina, Carlos Molina. These guys, hey man, they're kind of throwbacks. And when I say throwbacks, you guys know what I'm talking about. I mean, they're gonna fight to the end. They come to every fight, win or lose. They come give it their all. And I thought early on we saw what was going on with Ishe Smith, and he did a lot of holding, and but one thing about Ishe is you can see, man, that boy is strong as a bull. I mean, every time that Carlos would get close and pop him a couple times and he would hold him, I mean, he would lock him up where he could not get away from him. He's so strong. But I think it's a tribute to Molina that he came to fight, gave it what he had, and got the decision.
I agree. I agree with you. I just, and it's not like us to agree all the time, but in this case, I agree with you. It was actually a fight that I think Ishe didn't fight to win, and he didn't win, and he didn't deserve to win it. I mean, when you look back at it, you had Carlos, because Steve, to me, there's really nothing special or spectacular about Carlos Molina and his style of fighting. He's just going to come at you, and he's going to be a tough fighter. So you would think anyone that has some skills would be able to outbox him and to outpoint him and frustrate him. And it was just, let me just leave it at this. It was an opportunity blown by Ishe.
I would agree.
Okay.
And I think you just about put it in a nutshell. Not much more to be said about that fight. I would imagine that I haven't heard anything about it, but I'm sure that there's going to be a rematch on that. I'm sure that Floyd is not in a position in the position of allowing any of his fighters that have a champion title to not have a rematch clause in their contract. So I imagine that that'll be worked out. We'll see what happens.
Well, I don't know. Even if he did have a rematch clause, I mean, is that something you really want to do? I mean, Floyd's a businessman. I mean, he saw that fight. He saw what everyone else fought. I mean, is it worth keeping Ishe on your stable of fighters?
Oh yeah, he's part of the money team. I mean, he's not going to.
Well, he was. I mean, what do you do?
He's still a part of the money team.
Do you think so?
Oh yeah, I think so.
But is that just because of an act of loyalty?
No, I think it's like you said in the beginning. The Ishe Smith that we were expecting to see, we didn't see. And like you said, Floyd saw that. And so, I'm sure he'll get him in there and say, hey, like you said, this was an opportunity for you to really shine. You blew it. Now we got to get back on, go back to the drawing board and let's go it again.
Well, finally, we disagree on something.
No,
I think Floyd cuts him, lets him go because, number one, his age. He's not a young pup anymore.
Yeah.
And why are you going to keep someone around here costing you money when there's a lot of youngsters, up and coming youngsters that you can grab? So I mean, if he does keep Ishe on the money team, it's not going to be because he thinks he's going to make any money on Ishe. I think it's going to be more of, okay, he's on the team. Let's go ahead and keep him around. But to be honest with you, business sense, my thing is you let him go. Just go and start building your stable of championship fighters.
So your opinion is that Ishe's done. That's
well, he's done with the money team. I mean, he can still fight. He still got somewhat of a name where he can fight and fill in undercards. But I'm thinking to be on someone's stable of fighters like Floyd Mayweather. Floyd Mayweather, if he's going to build a stable of fighters and compete with what Bob Arum has and what Oscar De La Hoya has, he's going to have to leave the Ishes out of there. I mean, he's going to have to build it up with top caliber fighters. I mean,
well, we'll have to follow that because the radio says Ishe Smith's no longer part of the money team as far as being a viable contender. I disagree, so folks will follow that. Let's move on to the fight that was probably the best fight of the night. Even though it didn't go the way that the majority of us thought it was going to go. But that fight between Danny Garcia and Lucas Matthysse.
Good. And leading up to this fight, leading up to this contest, people were telling me I was crazy. Because naturally I told them Danny Garcia was
because you are crazy. Well, go ahead.
Okay. I said Danny Garcia is going to win this fight. Here he is the champion. People say, "Well, you're crazy." And I like Matthysse. I think he's an excellent boxer. I think he's extremely good for boxing in general. He's the kind of fighter that keeps boxing on its toes. It's just he's good for boxing. Okay. I didn't pick him because I thought he was the lesser of a fighter. I just picked him because in this matchup.
You're talking about Danny Garcia.
Danny Garcia. I picked Danny Garcia simply because Matthysse, he obviously you're going to knock someone out that's there to get hit, and that's being cautious. Okay, and let me tell you something about Danny Garcia. He's one of them fighters that I like because he's sneaky good. I mean, he's sneaky good. He doesn't show everything in the ring. He doesn't show, but a boxing coach or a trainer or something, which is why I'm surprised that Matthysse's coaches didn't actually see that Danny Garcia actually has some talent.
Oh yeah.
It's just not an out talent, okay? It's talent where he doesn't take the brunt of a punch. He knows how to move with the punch. He knows how to slip. He knows how to stay in the pocket, and he knows how to deliver. Them kind of things are absent when people look at him. Okay, so I picked him just because I thought he was going to be the fighter, and I felt he would not get hit with a solid punch that would put him down. And I think I told you and everyone else, if he does get hit with one of them punches, he's going down just like anyone else.
Yeah.
But I didn't see it, and that's how it ended up turning out.
One of the things that right off the bat when they were, the referee was giving instructions in the center of the ring. That 2-inch height advantage was I mean, it was pretty dominant when you saw him standing there, and Lucas, he was actually the smaller fighter. The size was it was, and you know what it reminded me of, Aurelio, when you and I talked about, not to the same extreme, but when we talked about, it was reversed in the way we had this picked. As you remember, I told you that Austin Trout was going to beat Miguel Cotto. You said no, he's not. I said, wait till you see the size difference. And when you saw him in the ring, the first thing you told me when you called me, you said, man, he is way bigger than him. And I saw that Danny Garcia was bigger than Lucas. I think part of the thing, and I'll admit this, Danny Garcia is a hell of a fighter. Danny Garcia, I've never taken that away from him, but just something about when he appears there and his dad. I know a lot of people like that with his dad and all that. I don't like it, and so that kind of contributed to my wanting Matthysse to because Danny Garcia, a lot of people didn't realize this. Angel Garcia came on, there was a YouTube video where he says, if my son loses to Lucas Matthysse, I'm going to cut my head off. I'd already planned on, I was going to say, well, when and where are you going to cut your head off? This guy's just irritating to me. And that's part of me just being a human where, a certain part of a guy that I can't stand. That's part of the thing, and I've admitted before about Floyd. Just that the peripheral stuff, some of it just agitates me to where I take away from, from the fighter. But in this case, in both of these guys, I have to give them their dues. You take away all the other stuff and you just put them in the ring, and you take them for what they got in the ring. Danny Garcia is a tough out.
You know what? I like the Angel.
You like the Angel
scenario.
You do?
The scenario.
You think it's good for boxing?
Well, because boxing always comes with shit talking. Correct. That's just the way it is. That's boxing in general. Okay, that's the way it is. But sometimes, and I'm like you, it kind of irks me when a fighter does a lot of talking and then goes in the ring and doesn't back it up. Okay. And it's just all hype.
Right.
And I kind of like it in a sense because, number one, Angel kind of curbs that. He takes it. He takes all the back and forth, and he keeps it away from Danny, so Danny can focus on one. He can focus on training, and he can focus on being on the ring and doing what he has to do, and let Angel do the shit talking, do the confrontation, and he's good at it.
Yeah.
Okay. He gets into the other camps in their heads. He does it, and at the same time, he's shielding his son from all the drama. Okay, so in a sense, it's a good thing. It is a good thing, and as you can see, Danny Garcia says, he says, I let my dad do that. I do my work in the ring. Right. And that's what he does, and I just think that's actually good. I like it for his team. If it's Danny Garcia's team, like I said before, he's sneaky good. He's just a sneaky good fighter, and it's going to take a lot to beat him.
It really is. It is going to take a lot to beat him. And what you say is a very valid point. I love the way Danny always says, he just smiles all the time and say, hey, that's my dad, and he loves his dad. And so that's, like I said, that's part of it. But as far as him in the ring, man, this kid is pretty awesome. I'm going to jump a little bit ahead in this. I know you're not going to like to hear this, but when we talk about potential opponents for Floyd, if things keep rolling like they are, Floyd's going to fight, he said 2 times in 2014. Danny Garcia's name has to be thrown in that hat. Weight it would probably have to be a welterweight. Floyd's not going to come down, so it will be, at welterweight. But Danny Garcia's name would have to be thrown in the hat. Of course, like I said, things are going to have to develop a little bit for him. But so much about Danny Garcia there's so much of an upside to him. Like you said, he's young, he's strong, he's shown that he's smart. And he showed how much smarter he was than Lucas. Because I will admit this, and I thought Lucas would, within 6 rounds, would end this fight with a KO. Danny Garcia showed Lucas that, no, you're not going to knock me out. You're not stronger than me. So what's your plan B? And Lucas didn't have a plan B.
He didn't have a plan B. And the bottom line is, and you're going to get hit. Yeah. And you're going to get hit, because I'm not just going to stay there and be in a defensive posture and try to survive. I'm going to make you pay. And he did make him pay. I mean, he had that eye practically closed
Oh, it was
early
close.
in the fight.
Yeah, fourth round. And once again, credit to Lucas. No excuses from Lucas after the fight.
No.
I mentioned several times I saw low blows that I thought should have been called. Lucas never complained. In the 12th round, he got that one where he went down. And he was just down for a couple seconds and got up. You know, he didn't... classy Lucas, not complaining at all, not making any excuses. Danny, very classy, you know.
Yeah.
It was really a good fight.
Yeah.
Let me just say that. Great fight for that card.
I think it was great. I think it was a good fight. I think Matthysse, we haven't seen the last of him.
No.
He's going to be in there, and he's going to actually be fighting for a title again here real soon. I know that's going to happen. He learned a lot from this fight. He learned a lot that, hey, I'm not going to just be able to knock everybody out, even though that's been his whole scenario. He's been going in knocking people out.
Yeah.
But now he knows, hey, now I need to be able to bide my time in the ring and take whatever comes to me
and win instead of just thinking about KO.
Yeah, so
you know,
I mean,
like you said, you're right. When it seemed like when it got obvious to him that he wasn't going to knock this kid out, he was lost.
You know, and I think what happened in his corner, in Matthysse's corner, is I think they panicked too early.
Think so?
With the eye shutting, I think they panicked too early because even though his eye was shut, they were doing an excellent job of keeping the swelling away from the eye.
Yeah.
And if you notice on that fight, you'll notice that they were doing such a good job. They actually decided to do away with the end swell, okay? Because with the fingers, what they were doing was they were pushing the swelling away from the eye. And if you take a look at that fight, you'll notice that what that gave him a minute, the beginning of each fight, with an eye that he can see before it would close again.
Yeah.
Okay? Very, very smart. So there was really no reason for them to panic because if you notice at the beginning of each and every round, he would actually do real good.
Mm-hmm.
But he was panicking and he was going for a knockout where he should have just bid his time and I think he would have had a better chance, and obviously he may have ended up catching Danny in the later rounds. You see in the later rounds, Danny got very, very cautious. He got very cautious, and his dad even slapped him a couple of times, you know, saying, "Wait a minute, you know,
get back to the game plan.
We got to get back." So I think they learned. Hopefully they learned, and I think you're going to see Matthysse coming. I think he's going to be champ. I mean, without a doubt. Danny, I think the world got to see him, and I'm with you. I think that that opens the door for a big fight against Floyd because it won't be like Danny's begging for a paycheck like some of the others. Or most of the others.
He will have earned it.
He would have earned it,
Yeah.
and I think he'll make a good an outing. I think he'd perform well. I'm not sure Floyd would knock him out. Floyd might knock him out.
No, Floyd's not knocking him out.
But anyway, we'll wait. If that happens, or something, we'll follow it. Okay. But
excellent observations from the trainer, and we're going to take a quick break, and we'll come back, and we're going to talk about that main event: Floyd Mayweather Jr., Saul Canelo Alvarez. Stay with us. We'll be right back.